Today it is time to look at a professional match of StarCraft 2. Joining me in the bottom left of the map, Blackburn, the Red Nexus, with a portrait we're not going to discuss. It is NightMare. Stuff of my nightmares. And in the bottom right, the blue hatchery and drones belonging to Solar. Dramatic intro. Check. Probe. Already. Out on the... Wait, what was that cue? He's going up here. Drone? Drone checking for probe. All the worker mind games. What a battle. You two. Okay, so NightMare was checking for the gold, thinking that Solar might rush to take a gold hatch. Solar was expecting there to be a probe for a hatch block, and probably said, I'm sorry, what? There's no probe here. I get to take my natural? What? What an odd feeling. What is this, like 2012? Been doing hatch blocks for too long, I say. Zerg players need to rise up. Besides the point, though. NightMare, going with a pretty standard, risky opener, getting the Nexus before the core. Probe being harassed by drones. Solar says, get back to work. Just checking everything out, though. Won't really know what's going on for another minute here. Obviously, the tech choice from NightMare is probably going to dictate what the early game looks like, but Solar could surprise us. He could go for some aggressive roach play. So Ravager Bane all in. Remains to be seen. The pool's going to finish up and queens are queued. Nothing is being made from the gateway because there's no need for a zealot at this time. Core's going to finish up. The first unit of choice is going to be an adept. The unit of choice for people that can actually micro. I, of course, never go for that. Sometimes, but I know my limits. Much safer with stalkers. The building tech choice is going to be a Stargate, and Solar's going to try and take the third. Oh. Wow, that was tense. That was close. Almost saw a third base hatch block. That would have been something for the history books, right? That's usually a Terran thing with the Reaper going after the third base. Adept is being sent across the map. What is going to be made from the Stargate? Based on that rally, it's looking like a Void Ray or a Phoenix. It's a Void Ray. He wants to hunt down that Ovi. There will be no scouting for the Zerg player. Ling's chasing the Adept Shade. Queen's chasing the physical Adept. So, who's lost their mind? Obviously the Zerglings. Had a little too much of whatever Zerglings eat for breakfast. We're not going to talk about it. I was going to try and make some cereal joke, like, Cheerios or Grumpios, because, brand names, but I lost it, so we're just abandoning that now. Third base is going to finish up. Void Ray, number 1, completes for the NightMare, and he's going with a second one. There was a balance patch, right, NightMare? Void Rays take like 6 seconds longer to produce, and they're slightly more expensive, which means, of course, they are now the worst unit you could possibly make, and we have to make fun of you for it. Duh. +1 air weapons is also going to be made, so it's looking like a dirty, no good Protoss Air Force game. Adept catches the Ling, Void Ray teaming up to hunt it down. Solar, what are you going to do? There's Void Rays out. How are you going to deal with it? We can't exactly just queen walk anymore because now we can only draw the healing powers of transfusion from creep. We're going to shuttle them with Ovies, NYDUS Worm. Always a good pick. Have to see. The Roach Warren's coming up, the lair is being made, and the 2 Void Rays actually snipe off a drone. 2 drones. Wow, big money. 3, 4? 4 drones, taking some heavy hull damage from that spore crawler while the queens try to get into position. They were not expecting 2 voids in the main base, and honestly, neither was I. That's a bit odd. Usually, you see some harassment around the 3rd base, sure, but the main base? That's ambitious, NightMare. Come on. Behind this, double Stargate Phoenix is being made, perhaps to preemptively shut down any muta play. Make a few Phoenixes, show them. You want to get aggressive, you want to let the Zerg know. You have Phoenixes and you're not afraid to use them. Adept in peril. 2nd Adept going to be made, ensuring the safety of the wall when the first one dies off. Void Rays return home, and the choice has been made. It is a NYDUS network. Solar's going to go for what looks to be a Queen NYDUS attack. All in? Perhaps. Drone production has ceased. He's around 62, which is totally fine. That's a pretty healthy 3-base economy. The Phoenixes and the Voids are on the Zerg side of the map, which means the NYDUS worm can be made. Ravagers being made. I don't think they can be lifted in their cocoons, but they can be lifted right as they come out. Lings pour towards the Protoss's natural, and queens escape from the maw of the NYDUS worm. Recall initiated on just 2 Void Rays. The Phoenixes, you all have to fly by yourselves. You can handle it. Queen Ravager team threatening the 3rd base. Additional NYDUS worms are being made here, and the Void Ray. 1 dies off. Biles used against the battery. Phoenixes are here, able to lift up everything. There's no creep here, Solar. You have to be on creep to transfuse. Get back to the creep, the queens say. Few zealots warped in. Lings still trying their best to get into the natural base. That's a lot of probes. That's a lot of sacrificial probes. I'm impressed. NightMare actually able to hold most of this. The main base is now the one in peril. Queens, Ravagers being morphed into the main base. I'm telling you guys, climate change is a real thing. We are seeing global warming in action here. I don't know what to do. How does the Protoss fix this? Is clean energy the answer, or is it just having to go around and hunt down the worms? Chargeless Zealots actually helping out quite a bit. Void Ray, Immortal combo going to clean up the NYDUS worms. Wow, that heated up quick. Explosive action here. Solar, what's the total damage here? Ouch. Let's see those numbers again. Ouch. That was a huge investment for Solar, and I do not believe it paid off. I think NightMare has got to be feeling in a good position right now. He's slapping down a fleet beacon, which I think is quite a show of confidence. He's feeling good. He says, you know what? Carriers. Probably carriers. It could be Tempest, but I'd be surprised. Phoenix is able to move onto the Zerg side of the map, pick up some queens, which you might say is an impressive feat, but hey, they don't weigh that much. They're on a diet. They're working out. Phoenixes can handle it. Ling's trying to find some damage, but as Charge is about to finish, I do not see Zerglings doing much at this point. Does he have a Spire? No. No Spire. Without a Spire, I do not see this going well for Mr. Solar, because the fleet beacon is complete. Behind this, NightMare, what are you going to make? He needs more money. We'll have to check in on that in a few seconds. There we go. Oh, those are different Stargates. He's got 4 Stargates. Full-on commitment to the Protoss Armada. The air fleet. 4 carriers are in production, and these overlords, you'd think they'd be safe, but this is just a slaughter. I need to look away from that. Zerglings connect with the charge lots. Ravagers are here. This is a lot of Ravagers, actually. The carriers are not here yet. This is a pretty good opportunity for Solar to try to get some damage done. Additional NYDUS worms being made. The remaining queens are here. Maybe they can throw down a creep tumor able to transfuse a little bit. Overcharge going to be used, and the phoenixes fly home as quickly as they can. You'd think there would be an ability that you might recall to bring your forces back home. Maybe, I don't know what we could call it, something like recall. Carrier, I believe, has arrived. Oh yeah, carrier has arrived, indeed. There's a fair amount of queens, but not enough, I think, to really stop the interceptors. The third base of the Protoss is going to fall, but is this enough Zerg to keep pushing? Holy bile! NightMare just lost a carrier and almost a second one to Ravager Biles. That is a good connection. Unfortunately, not going to be good enough. The Zerg forces are dying off in droves. There's even blinkless stalkers here. Zealots connecting with most of the forces. Void Ray goes down, unfortunately, but the carriers are still alive, and the anti-air options for the Zerg are fleeting, dwindling. NightMare is gonna hold. He's gonna clean it up. Wow. Who knew carriers were actually pretty good, huh? Get down. So the Sky Toss is here. Solar in a very bad position. Wow, those numbers. Yikes. Solar almost at a double deficit compared to the Protoss options here. Gonna send some Zerglings across the map. Oh yeah, that'll do it. I lost my Queen Ravager army. I know he's producing carriers. Let me send some Zerglings. That'll get the job done. Zealots gonna be warped and able to defend. Carriers defending this base. I do not see this working well for Solar. He's got one last hurrah in him, it looks like. A lot of Ravagers and slightly less Queens. The carrier count has increased. And NightMare is just going to take the game. Solar realizing he's not able to really compete with the Sky Toss without a more robust anti-air option. NightMare's going to take the game. If you enjoyed, be sure to let me know in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.